Hey guys, my name is Nora Franche, and welcome to the podcast Grateful Blessed Mess, daily reflections for those in the 12 steps. I am a fellow 12-stepper and certified mindset coach, and I am here to introduce you to the value of mindset coaching in your 12-step journey. So if you feel like you are stuck in the steps, if you're slipping and sliding with your abstinence, mindset coaching may help you as it did me, and you can find me at catholicmindsetcoaching.com. These episodes are meant to invite you in to consider the truths of 12-step wisdom and to join in the very real struggle of living them in action. I hope that it feels almost like a mini meeting, and I invite you to contribute your own share on the Grateful Blessedness Facebook group to keep the discussion going. My comments are based on my own experience, so feel free to take what you like and leave the rest. But my hope is to encourage you on your own daily 12-step journey. As they say, you cannot stay clean on yesterday's shower. So without further ado, let's begin. Hey guys, we're reading from A Day at a Time, the reading for December 5th. It is of low benefit to give me something. It is of high benefit to enable me to do something for myself, wrote Emerson. Gosh, he has so many good quotes. Okay, it goes on. I've been taught in the program that I begin to use my will properly when I try to make it conform with the will of a higher power. In the past, most of my problems resulted from the improper use of willpower. I'd always tried to use it in sledgehammer fashion as a way of solving my problems or changing the conditions of my life. Do I see that a primary purpose of the 12 steps is to help me channel my will into agreement with my higher power's intentions for me? Today I pray, may I direct my willpower into a channel where it can pick up the will of my higher power. May I no longer use my willpower, which has not proved mighty in the past, as willfulness. May I think of my will only as an extension of my higher power's will, listening always for direction. Today I will remember to use my willpower as willingness, not willfulness. I like that. I want to remember that. To use my willpower as willingness, not usefulness. That's great. As I was going through this, what really dawned on me is that we have two main faculties of our soul that we learn about in the catechism, and it's the intellect and the will, and that those are actually powers of our soul. That is part of that immortal part of our being that never goes away. And I think it's really funny because I think the intellect gets a lot of attention. It gets a lot of hoopla. It gets accolades. It gets admiration. And then the funny thing is that it's the will that actually makes things happen. The intellect is a beautiful thing, and it's what allows us to know the good, but the purpose of our soul is not just to know the good, it's to choose it. So we have a mind with which to know and a heart with which to love the good, meaning we have a mind and intellect to know the good and a heart or a will to choose the good. Ultimately, our soul, this magnificent part of our psyche, was designed to lead us to our higher power because he is goodness itself. Is that not the most excellent engineering? Like, seriously, it is just, darn it blows my mind that I was literally designed to return to him. And that's why Augustine has that beautiful quote about our hearts are restless until they rest in you, because they were engineered for him. They were designed for goodness. And that is the purpose of our will. And that is why it causes us such distress and discomfort and friction amongst our relationships when our will is not used for the purpose for which it was made. And so it was made to be an extension of our higher power. Our higher power is almighty. He is the epitome of all powerful, of the use of his will. It can do all things, right? And so I almost think of it like that image in the Sistine Chapel, just of like God's hand extending with the fingernail. It's usually in connection to Adam reaching out, but just seeing God, the arm of God, the finger of God extending out like that, and then almost like that being his will, and that my arm just like branches from that in a spiritual and not creepy way, as an extension of his will, that, perhaps one day I can be so in union with his mind, the mind of God, that my mind, we're in unison. It's this channel. That was where the branching kind of came from, this description of that. May I direct my willpower into a channel where I can pick up the will of my higher power, that my will is really just an extension of him. And really, my soul is the thing in me that bears the image of God. It is an extension of him. But I think that a lot of the time we think of our soul and our intellect and will, our psyche, as being separate from our higher power. And I think what I'm coming to know and understand is that that you cannot cut that connection. That it's almost like there's like all these like light rays or like laser beams from our higher power to our soul that we just can't see. So we don't realize they're there. And that's why I think the big book encourages us to get quiet in moments of indecision and wait for that next right intuitive thought or act. I know for lots of us, for me, God speaks to me just through my intuitive thoughts. I don't hear God speak. I don't get loud booming voices. I don't typically, or maybe I'm just not paying attention enough, I don't get like a letter on my doorstep telling me what to do. For me, in prayer, in meditation, it's just this quiet, like light bulb often kind of moment, or this like image that comes to mind that's just something that I didn't come up with. And so God speaks to me through my mind, which now makes so much sense because that is the stuff of him. They're inextricably linked. They're always connected. It is the same essence as my source. And perhaps that is where that God-sized hole within us, resides, because it hungers for its source. It hungers to be reunited with that from which it came. And this got a little heady, so I apologize, but that's where it went. Stick with me. We're almost at the end of the year. With that, I pass. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you feel that mindset coaching could help you on your 12-step journey, please feel free to reach out and find me at catholicmindsetcoaching.com. This is not a replacement for 12-step work. This is something outside of the 12 steps. It is simply something that has a heart for the 12 steps and those who are in it. And so, welcome. If you are here, chances are you may also be a bit of a mess. And I hope that you can learn to find some gratitude in the blessings that have come from your messes.